Welcome back to the Richest Man in Babylon summary. We are on Chapter 8, the Camel Trader of Babylon. What's the story here? A starving young man named Tarkad makes his way pitifully through the streets of Babylon. He happens upon an old acquaintance, Abyssal, the camel trader, outside of a diner. Tarkad owes Abyssal money, and has for some time. Abyssal frankly confronts Tarkad, but Tarkad cannot pay, so Abyssal invites him into the diner with him. Therein, Abyssal orders a cup of water for Tarkad and then proceeds to eat plentifully before him. Abyssal then commences to tell Tarkad and the others around a tale of how he was once a slave. The camel trader tells how he was born the son of a free man but fell so far into debt that he could not pay his creditors. He fled Babylon and fell in with some bandits. He was captured and sold as a slave to a Syrian desert chief. The chief's eldest wife, Sira, took Abyssal to be her camel tender. Abyssal tells Sira of his past and how he was born a free man, but Sira rebukes him, saying, "How can you call yourself a free man when your weakness has brought you to this? If a man has in himself the soul of a slave, will he not become one, no matter what his birth?" She explains to Abyssal that his debts are his enemies, and he should wage war upon them like any king does against his foes. After more than a year as a slave for the desert chief, Sira intentionally presents Abyssal with the opportunity to escape. She provides him with fully laden camels and tells him, if he truly has the heart of a free man, to flee. Sira tells him to return to Babylon, pay off his debts, and be the honorable man he wishes to be. Abyssal flees and after several days in the desert collapses to the earth on the verge of death. When he wakes, he is confronted again with the words of Sira in his mind. His desire to be a free man, a man of honor, spurs him on. He eventually returns to Babylon where he devotes himself to honor. He confronts each of his creditors and vows to pay his debts, which he does over time, restoring his honor and dignity. Abyssal then addresses Tarkad. Art thou ready to take the road that leads back to self-respect? Hast thou the desire to pay thy honest debts and once again be a man respected in Babylon? Tarkad, moved by Abyssal's tale, vows to abandon his slave-heartedness and become a respectable man, a man of honor, a man who pays his debts. To this, Abyssal celebrates with Tarkad by buying him a meal. So what are the financial principles in play in this chapter? Shame accompanies the person who does not pay their debts. Bad luck and poor circumstances are pitiful excuses for weakness, for not keeping your commitments. Become skilled, trained, and educated that you may be a valuable asset to the market and thereby earn a healthy income. Spending more money than you earn is a sure way to end up destitute and humiliated. It's very easy to accrue so much debt that we cannot make our payments and pay for our lives at the same time. It is the nature of humanity to want things that they cannot afford. This is no excuse. We all must learn to temper our desires. To be financially successful, we must alter the way in which we view the world and ourselves in it. Just because you're in financial bondage now does not mean you must always be so. You have the power to change your circumstances. Just because you don't have any money does not mean you are without value to the world or the market. So long as you breathe, you have potential value. Contentment, a form of happiness, is infringed upon when we do not keep our commitments. Treat debt like the enemies of war. Attack it with every stratagem and power at your disposal. The soul of a free man looks at life as a series of problems to be solved and solves them, while the soul of a slave whines, "What can I do who am but a slave?" Do not hesitate when sound financial opportunities are presented to you. Where the determination is, the way can be found. So how do we take these financial principles and apply them in our lives? Do not enter into more debt than you can manage. It's safest to never enter into debt at all. Pay off your debts as quickly as is reasonably possible. If you are prone to entering into debts beyond your means to repay, you must change the way you think about yourself and the world around you. This takes introspection, self-awareness, and humility. Stop accruing new debts immediately. If you are so deep in debt that you see no way out, do not despair. Start today to work your way out. You created the problem, which means that you can create the solution. It will be hard work, but it will be worth it. And once you succeed, you will find self-respect and contentment that before escaped you. That concludes the summary of Chapter 8, The Camel Trader of Babylon. You can move on to the discussion of Chapter 8 more in depth, or you can move on to Chapter 9 summarized. Thanks for watching.